Oh, hello everybody. Got a little something new for you here today. Welcome, welcome to my review of Monday Night Raw. It's the Raw review. That's right. I'm finally getting off my ass and doing some wrestling stuff that isn't a video game for once. All right. So, let's get the big news out of the way. It is December 8th at the time of recording this. And December 13th is John Cena's last day in the WWE as an official performer. So, John Cena set up a tournament. Who's going to be the person that retires him? And that is effectively going to be the crux of this episode and the next episode, which will be a SmackDown review. The Last Time Is Now tournament is almost over. Now, I will say at the time of recording this episode, because the episode I'm reviewing is December 1st. There's a new episode tonight of Monday Night Raw. There's an episode of SmackDown that's happened also. That'll be a separate review. So, to kick this off, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to December 1st, 2025, Monday night. And I gotta say, for an episode of Raw, eh, eh, eh. All right, let's get into the actual review. So, first segment one is wouldn't call it a hot open, wouldn't call it a cold open. I'd call it kind of a middle level opening. It's just Wade Barrett and Joe Test standing in the crowd. Wade looks old as shit. Um, I don't know if he just stopped dyeing his hair or just suddenly got hit with a wave of gray, but my man's looking like a president after 4 years, like if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up like a picture of Lincoln before he was president and then what Abraham Lincoln looked like after. Ew. Obama went in, young athletic man came out old and gray. The job takes a toll on you, and that's how Wade Barrett is looking right now. He is looking like he's been serving his country. Holy shit. And they just give a basic rundown of the show. They fill in a couple drone shots. They do a little crappy commercials. But the next segment was fun. It was a Survivor Series video package. Uh, for those of you who don't know, a video package is basically they just show you like a super well cut and super well edited, like, I guess you could say, rundown of the events from the previous show. Like normally, like on an episode of Monday Night Raw, pre-pay-per-view, you're just getting a video package of the last week on Raw or the last week of SmackDown. But coming fresh off a pay-per-view, you're always going to get a video package for the pay-per-view. And the only real note, because I got like a little notebook full of notes that I took while watching the show, is that I wrote that it was very, very well put together. I wasn't exactly on the Survivor Series hype train, but I thought the video package that they did was very, very well put together. And those three segments, segment one with Wade and Joe Tess, into the video package, and then into this, they went really quick, I find. They linger on certain things, but they don't actually hold hard shots too much. Because of course, segment 3 is all the wrestlers and people showing up to the arena earlier in the night. So Heyman and the Visions here. Solo and Tonga. I'm not a fan of Solo, but I did like the little detail of Solo walking by the Jacob Fatu truck and just getting pissed off. That was a great attention to detail. AJ and Dragon Lee show up. They are our current World Tag Team Champions. And then the Judgment Day. Of course, Liv Morgan made her return, and her and Dominic pull up in fucking Eddie's lowrider again. You're just getting real fed up with Liv Morgan and her bullshit. That's pretty much how they're going to end that segment. Just the holding on to the shot of the Judgment Day and a returning Liv Morgan. Yay. So the first hard segment on the show, where we actually get action on camera, is Rio. I guess I can call them Rio. Rhea and Io. Rio. They open up the show. And the reason I even got the name Rio in my head is because, well, Rhea, the first thing out of Rhea Ripley's mouth is one of the shittiest jokes I've ever heard in my life. I love Rhea Ripley to death, but she said, "Welcome to Monday Night Rio," and I was like, yeah, that's how this show's gonna go. It's gonna be a 2-star show, and wait till I get to the end. But Rhea kind of want revenge. Well, Rhea and Io want revenge against the Kabuki Warriors because of, well, if you haven't been paying for attention to the show, I'm not going to rehash the last, 2 months. But they had beef. They had a justifiable beef, and it was clearly time to bring that story back into the picture. But that would not go as planned, because Rhea and Io's teammates, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, were also promised a title match against Rhea and Io for helping them at Survivor Series. And Rhea has a suggestion that they all take a big boot back and get their asses to the back of the line. But Charlotte and Alexa say, fuck that. It's time to fight. Let's get to it. They challenge Rhea and Io, and surprisingly, Io is the one that accepts. Io was having a ball. I gotta say, Io was having fun, and I love to see that. Especially when Kairi and Asuka are in the mix. I'm a big fan of the Japanese wrestling. And you got 3 of the greatest women wrestlers from Japan, and then Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss in the mix. Little Miss Bliss is legit. Charlotte Flair is the daughter of 16-time and former record holder for the most world championship wins. I don't know why I went to world records. Ric Flair. Charlotte Flair is the daughter of literal greatness. Alexa Bliss is Sassy Molassy from Ohio, and Rhea Ripley is Rhea Bloody Ripley from Adelaide, Australia. Like, what are we doing? That's one of the greatest 6 people you could ever put into a ring together. So yeah, I started getting excited, and then just for it immediately to cut to for segment 5 to cut to Adam Pearce backstage approving the match. Yeah, we're on a roll now. So for that first hard segment, just because of the star power in the ring, I can't give it a high grade. You know, I do kind of have to grade it based on content. As much as I'd like to grade it high as a wrestling fan, as an actual observer, it wasn't that good of a segment. Like, it was really flat, and the pops weren't there to react to everything that they were doing. So I wanted to give it a 3, but because the crowd didn't seem that into it, I gave it a 2 out of 5. So our first hard segment with a rating is going to be a 2 out of 5. I'm a SmackDown head, though. So Raw's always going to be a 2 out of 5 for me. I'm just kidding. But that'll bring us to segment number 5, and segment number 5 is Adam Pearce backstage making the match official. And about halfway through that phone call, Ivy Nile arrives, asking Pearce for a match against Maxine Dupri for her Intercontinental title. For those of you who don't know, Maxine Dupri, who has been a huge underdog and one of the most, and in terms of her character, one of the most disrespected people on the roster, finally had her moment, and now, of course, she's a champion, so everybody's gunning for her. And her and Ivy have been going back and forth for a very, very long time because of the old American Alpha Chad Gable shit. Maxine Dupri, Otis, and Akira Tozawa all used to be a part of American Alpha. And then Chad Gable blew up the group. So, replacing Maxine with Ivy, and Otis and Tozawa with the Creed brothers. So Ivy and Maxine always had that beef because, well, Maxine used to be Gable's, you know, but whatever. But since Maxine has said she wants to be a fighting champion, Pearce doesn't even hesitate and makes that match official too. Now, Maxine is currently out training with Natalya, but Pearce has said once she's done and once she's back, yeah, you're her first opponent. Let's get this going. So that's pretty nice. I do like seeing Ivy Nile in the ring. Then Heyman and Breakker show up. I love me some Braun Breaker. I love me some Paul Heyman. The rest of the group I can do without. Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, all that. Just put Braun Breaker in the forefront. That is Scott Steiner's nephew. Like, what are we doing? I got freaks 9 days of the week. There's only 7 days in a week. I'm the big bad booty daddy. You don't tell me. Like, you're telling me you're not putting that guy, you're not putting every title you have on that guy? Just every belt, even the women's belt. Just fucking put it on a Steiner. But I hate this segment. You want to know why? Because it's all fucking blue balls about the Masked Man at Survivor Series. Another just fucking pointless. He hit the curb stomp. It's Seth Rollins. And if it's not, there's no point in blue balling us. We got a full month before our next pay-per-view. And John Cena's retiring this week. Why would you incorporate a story piece you're not even gonna fucking use? Why would you incorporate a story piece you're not even gonna fucking use? It's a red herring. It has to be. It has to be a red herring, or else there's no point in doing it. And then just flattening it out the next week. Like, just instantly kill it. You don't want us to focus on the Masked Man. You want us to focus on something else. I'm just trying to figure out what. The Masked Man is going to somehow be irrelevant by the end of this. But the segment basically ends with Heyman interjecting about Breakker pinning CM Punk at War Games. Now, CM Punk is the current World Heavyweight Champion, so that is a big implication. The winning maneuver for the War Games match was the World Heavyweight Champion being pinned. And now the guy that did it is standing outside the general manager of Raw's office. So, and it's also Paul Heyman. We know how this is going to go. Of course, the segment ends Heyman getting what he wants and getting the conversation with Pierce in Pierce's office. So, I'd say for the Ivy Nile half of the segment, good. For the blue balls and constant retreat on the Masked Man, I'm going to give that another 2. So, our next hard segment, also 2 out of 5 stars. Now, I am just going to read the first thing I wrote down about segment number 6. Because I wrote that down before I even wrote the number 6 to take notes on this next segment. And what I said was, oh God, yeet. So segment number 6 is, it just opens on an Uso, and you know it's going to be a shit time. You know it's going to be the worst fucking time you've ever had, because for the next 7.5 minutes, it's just going to be yeet, 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 yeet. Like, I get it. You got a good gimmick, Jay. But here's one thing I also pointed out. This is going to be the first match of the evening. We are 18 minutes into the show. We are 18 minutes, 20 minutes into a 2-hour show, and we're just getting the first match now. Monday Night Raw used to open up on matches where I come from. Monday Night Raw used to already be in full swing by the time the camera started fucking rolling, buddy. What are we doing, Hunter? What are we doing, Hunter? Anyway, this first match is going to be our first semi-final match in the Last Time Is Now tournament. Jey Uso versus Los Angeles Knight. Now, before we get to the actual match, well, they do cut away from the yeet, yeet, yeet for a little bit, and they do a video package. And this video package was actually fucking killer, and explains to you why I'm a little mad about this Last Time Is Now tournament, because the video package is all about John Cena's rivalry with CM Punk. And why is CM Punk not in the fucking tournament? Why is CM Punk not in the tournament? The hardest rivalry we've had in a century, and you're just like, nah, we're gonna have Gunther retire Cena. Sorry, I just gave away the ending for SmackDown, but you know. Like, I just totally took the thunder out of my SmackDown review, but like, Gunther? It makes sense, but like, Gunther? And you got CM Punk running around with the World Heavyweight Championship right now? Are you fucking retarded? I needed to be the fly on the wall of that writing room. I'm sorry. Like, what? Gunther? Walter. Walter. Like, I'm sorry. I can't. But anyway, December 13th, Saturday night's main event. The last time is now. Um, but yeah, back to LA versus Jay. LA Knight enters to a real decent pop, and Barrett says something stupid about Willy Wonka's golden ticket. Uh, I I felt like I needed that written down, so I did. Um, Match opens immediately on a hot start with Jay. He goes right into trying to get LA into the corner. And I noticed consistently throughout this match in particular, there was a lot of corner play. I'm assuming someone had to be injured or something had to be wrong. I know Jay's been given Jake the Snake drunk out of his mind performances lately, but I think someone must have been injured because they did a lot of corner play, and at the same time, they were all Jay went as high as he could go. It just didn't look very high, and he's looking chunky monkey. Like I know he's getting older, but if you looked at the Usos in the past and you look at Jay Uso now, he's got a beer gut. So I think he's got something going on behind the scenes. Um, Another thing I noticed about this match that I really didn't see in any of the other matches through the night, the hits. The hits. Now, I have wrestling knowledge. I went to a school for it. You're not actually supposed to just cold cock the guy in front of you. You're supposed to pull back. That's why the punches in wrestling look so fake. It's because they're hitting someone and not hitting them at the exact same time. For example, when I went to the school and they taught me how to throw the punch, dude's fist was connecting with my jaw, but it didn't feel like it. Because he was able to stop, he was able to pull back. I don't know how to properly phrase it. It's either pulling back or stopping, but you're not, you know? Like, you're following through, but you're like holding back the power, I guess is the right way to say it. That's why, like, in the old school wrestling videos, when, like, you see Austin Fez press someone and he does those real punch, like, he does 45 punches to the head, but it doesn't really look like they did anything. It's because he's trying to hit him and not hit him at the same time. It's a hard thing to do. But all of that goes out the window when you cold cock someone and you just fucking hear the spit fly out of their mouth, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! It sounded like L.A. Knight it sounded like L.A. Knight and Jay Uso were actually just fucking kicking the shit out of each other. Every single hit sounded like a truck. Like, and that's hard to fake. Wrestling as an art, it is very hard to fake the sound of a hit. It's very easy to make something look like it hurt. It's very hard to make it sound like it hurt. As a matter of fact, the only time you can ever really make something sound like it hurt was if you actually got fucking hurt. But it plays out very weird because it does have some decent back and forth, but it seems like no matter what Jay is doing, he just can't get that edge up on LA Knight, and LA Knight looks kind of pissed off. And that's what gives me Jake the Snake, Jey Uso might be drunk kind of vibes from it. Is LA Knight looks pissed off, and not the kind of I'm a cocky son of a bitch just here to win a tournament pissed off. It's a Jay showed up to work drunk again, pissed off. I got to do something about this. But anyway, the funniest thing to me from that match was surprisingly the before we go to commercial, Uso jumps through the does his like swan dive, his suicide dive out the side of the ropes onto LA Knight. And they are sprawled out going up the ramp. Cuts to commercial. Cuts back. Now they're both back in the ring on the far side of the ring on the north rope, both on top of the rope, slugging away at each other. It's just the commercial break made it look like we left one fight and went to a completely different one. Now, it turns into a big, Jey Uso, his big thing right now is yeet. LA Knight has his own little gimmick where everyone says, yeah. So that's why, like, I'm a huge LA Knight fan. So that's why we'll be sitting randomly and I'll just be like, yeah. Whenever I get the opportunity to say, yeah, I usually do. That's an LA Knight thing. So while they're just beating each other on the top rope, there's a massive yeet versus yeah off. And they end up both falling from the top rope. Now, before either of them even get back into the ring, the ref gets an 8 count, but for some reason stops counting the second Jey Uso gets back in the ring, and then just doesn't count the 2 full seconds that LA Knight is outside of the ring. So Jey Uso should have won the match right there. Based on, granted, yes, it's scripted, but they still pretend like it's not. So as a fan, we're supposed to pretend like the rules do still matter. So you got a full 2 count that LA Knight is still outside of the ring, that the ref doesn't count. LA Knight's disqualified. LA Knight should have lost right there. But they keep going. And it goes on for probably another 2 minutes before LA Knight hits one of the most insane burning hammers I've ever seen. I thought he was going for an angle slam. The way he picked Jey Uso up did not look like he was setting up the burning hammer. It looked like he was, I'm stealing the angle slam and using it right now. So that was impressive. Jimmy hits a half spear. And what do I mean by that? This is also part of the reason I think he was drunk. He goes to hit the spear, but before he even connects with LA Knight, he's spinning out of the move to do his recovery. That means he got scared of doing the move. You're only going to get scared of doing a move you do 1,000 times if there's something affecting your brain. I've seen Jimmy Uso hit a million spears, but I've never seen him pull back like that. He was protecting himself from something. Oh yeah, I even wrote a note here. I was like, spins out before contact. So like that was real weird. It just didn't sit right with me. LA Knight almost slips on the rope, but still hits an insane megaplex. And then I think Jay might have actually broken something off the megaplex because he doesn't sell the move like you would normally sell the move. He hits the ground, like throws his arms down by his ribs and immediately just starts like huffing and wheezing and like slamming the ground, repeatedly, like a fuck, fuck, fuck. Like, so I think like when he hit the ground, something popped because it was an immediate reaction. But I could have been fooled because Jay then goes on to hit one of the most obnoxious half spears I've ever seen again. Like, he protects himself again. But he did pull himself up for the Uso splash. So that was nice. But ends with a roll up from LA Knight. 1, 2, 3. LA Knight wins. Moves on to the tournament as a semifinalist against what? I already spoiled it. It would be Gunther. It's Gunther. He faces Gunther. Anyway. Little in between aftershock segment. We call those. That's when the hard cam stays on like a wrestler in the ring, and then something happens. Like, it's part of the segment before, but it's just to set up. Like, it's leading into the next segment. So Jay has a moment where he's like just in the ring, all upset and defeated and all that jazz. Then he just starts crashing out. He just starts losing his mind. And I wrote, love when they destroy the Prime stuff, because, ooh, fuck Logan Paul. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, segment, also 3.5, or 3 out of 5 stars for that match. I'm giving that a 3 out of 5. Because if Jey Uso was fucking around and on some Jake the Snake shit, LA Knight did the most professional thing I've ever seen out there and went out and worked the match. Knowing that he's stopping the danger. Now, segment 7 would cut to Adam Pearce again, backstage with Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. Bayley's asking about getting her and Lyra into the tag title scene. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi, show up, mad about Bayley not joining them during Survivor Series, which spins into a massive insult match, which then spits into Asuka and Kairi leaving with their classic little cute Japanese girl bullshit. And it is cute. It is cute, but it's weird. Like, Asuka just randomly started acting like that one day. But I'd give that segment 1 out of 5, just because it really didn't do much, and I'm not a fan of Lyra Valkyria. Like, I am, but I'm not. You know, like, I'm a fan of her as like a performer, but as a character, nah. So segment number 8 is the Judgment Day promo. Of course, the Judgment Day comes out, talk shit about John Cena, talk shit about how great they are. Liv comes out. She says John Cena and us didn't see her coming, but her tactic is literally always exactly the same, where she does the exact same thing. So, like, we did see it coming. You're not that creative. And this real revenge tour nonsense that really hasn't been a revenge tour and has just been Liv Morgan losing. I think it needs to come to an end. It's just getting kind of annoying. Like, Liv Morgan can do so much, but being the bad girl has kind of run its course. Especially since everyone that should be the bad girl right now is currently good. Like, it's weird. So yeah, it's really just a big shit talking segment. And they say the Judgment Day runs Raw, I guess, but the faction only has an Intercontinental Championship, so you're not really running shit except for running away from your past. You know. But I gave that segment more than, I gave it a 2. I gave it higher than the last segment simply because simply because I was supposed to hate it. And I did. Which means whatever they were doing worked. I was not supposed to like that like as a fan. Like from the perspective that I exist in as a fan of this show, I'm not supposed to like the Judgment Day and what they're doing. So, when they come out and do their performance and I don't like them or what they're doing, that means they are some of the best in the business right now. That means what they're doing is working on my brain. It's making me not like them, which is their goal, which is wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. If your goal is to make people hate you, and the first thing that happens when they hear your music or see your face is, ugh, then you've won. You're one of the best performers in the business. Congratulations. You got the heat you were looking for. Now use it. Segment 9 was another video package. It makes sense. Like, the video package isn't weird in the sense that it's bad and it doesn't fit and it doesn't make sense. It's just the vibe itself that I got from the video package was very off-putting. It was very weird. It was very out there. But the segment makes total sense. The segment is showing a callback to earlier. Remember the first segment of the night where segment 5, when Adam Pearce was talking to Ivy Nile backstage about her Intercontinental title match. This is showing Maxine training with Natalya, like Adam Pearce said. You know, he's like, hey, Maxine's training with Tally right now, but when she gets back, you can have your title. This is showing some of that training. But it felt off. Like, everything was dark. Natalya was kind of like a villain, not a mentor. And, I mean, it makes sense. She's a heart. But it did not feel good watching that. I guess it's just the way to put it. So I gave that a 1 out of 5 just because it creeped me out. And segment 10 would be Adam Pearce backstage again. More Masked Man blue balls. So I'm giving that a 1 out of 5. Except the one thing I did like is Pearce is using his referee as like a little bit of a spy to try to figure out who the Masked Man might be. But again, remember, we get blue balled, so it's all fucking irrelevant. Anyway, bringing us to segment 11, we're finally at match number 2. Now, I'll let you take a wild fucking guess how far we are into the show now. At match number 2, we are 44 minutes in. Yeah, you called it. Almost at the end of the show. But it is the World Tag Team Championship match, ladies and gentlemen. We have the New Day versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. I don't really got much context for this other than the New Day are the bad guys and AJ and Dragon Lee are the good guys. So let's use that for the context that we have. It's a hot start immediately from the New Day. They get straight into the action. Xavier and Kofi hot tag in the corner on AJ. Kofi hits one of the meanest monkey flips I've ever seen. Dragon Lee getting both New Day... I just bit my tongue and tripped up on my words. Dragon Lee hits both the New Day members, getting them out of the ring with Hurricanranas. It's just a lot of back and forth tagging and a lot of bullying from the New Day, but Kofi tags Xavier for a switch in. AJ double leg drop with the counter. AJ gets... I'm pretty sure he did get the tap, but Kofi immediately, pulls it back. Like, I think Kofi fucked up and did tap the ring a little bit, going for a tap out. But AJ almost gets the tap, quote unquote, from a calf crusher. But Xavier, of course, rushes in, breaks it up. There was a point where Xavier was like rolling up and recovering from a move, but he hits the, like, from the roll up, he spins and hits the meanest fucking back kick I've ever seen right on Dragon Lee while he was recovering from a move. It was a complete contrast to the first match. I'll say that. There was not a lot of corner play in this one, unless they were doing specifically something from the top rope. Now the setup here for the win was insane, fucking mind-boggling. Dragon Lee hitting a leg drop off of, I think it was it Kofi? It might have been Kofi or Xavier. It doesn't matter who. But hitting a leg drop while dude is leaning against the top rope and literally launching the man into AJ Styles Clash is fucking nuts. That's fucking insane. Just for that move alone, and then getting the win off of that. 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars. Easily. Anyway, they then cut to a highlight of the night. Ooh, hold that thought. I will be right back. Alright, I'm going to figure out where I need to cut that, and then we'll get right back into it. So, the highlight of the night was just a replay of Stephanie Vacker and Nikki Bella at Survivor Series. I'm not even going to count that as a segment. We're just going to move directly on from that. But that will take us to segment 12, which was Stephanie Vacker backstage with Jackie Redmond. And it's literally just a basic promo again about her win against Nikki and her future challengers. Liv Morgan shows up. Steph is not impressed, and neither am I. Give that segment a 2 out of 5. Move on to segment 13. It's Heyman and the Vision cutting a promo in the ring. Heyman's going to lead off, shouting out Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, WWE, and Braun Breaker. Allowing Braun Breaker to take the stage and cut a Smart Steiner promo and calls CM Punk a bitch. Also says that CM Punk's wife is a bigger star than him, which factually accurate, but consider the promo cut, and Breaker leaves hot. When a Steiner gets on the mic and cuts a promo, I'm already giving the segment a 4 out of 5. When Braun Breaker actually makes sense while he's talking. Yeah. It was a really good promo. Little flash fire here to segment 14. It is now Jackie Redmond and Jay backstage. Jay's acting very weird. He cuts his little defeated baby promo and leaves the arena. 1.5. 1.5 stars. Just fucking boring. Just. Segment 15 will be match number 3, finally. An hour and 4 minutes into the show, and it's the other semifinal match. It is Gunther versus Solo Sikoa. Now, opinion time. Opinion time. The match doesn't matter, the winner does. I hate Solo Sikoa. I do not need to see Gunther wrestle Solo Sikoa. I do not need to see Solo Sikoa wrestle Gunther. I don't even need to know what the drama is. I just need to know who won. And the winner was Gunther. Story-wise, Gunther should have won, and he did. And now it is going to be Gunther versus LA Knight in the finals on SmackDown this Friday. Give that a 3 out of 5 stars. And LA Knight finally comes out and gives Gunther a little pep talk. I'm excited to see how this goes. I know how it ends, but I'm excited to see how it goes. Flash forward to segment 16. It's Becky Lynch in a shitty video package. Again, more Masked Man blue balls backstage with Adam Pearce and the ref. AJ and Dragon Lee appear. They set up a title match against the War Raiders next week. I'm giving that a 0 out of 5 because it was all worthless. It was meaningless. Segment 17 brings us into a recap and setup. Jackie's backstage with Rey Mysterio, and he's going to be facing Finn Balor next week on Raw. I have this one highlighted. Rey calls Dominic his bastard son. I love when he does that. I fucking love when he does that. Pretty standard segment. Logan Paul shows up and brags about his jet. Logan cuts a trash promo. Rey says, "Who's gonna stop me?" Logan says, "I'm not just gonna stop you. I'm gonna retire you." And then Rey proceeds to slap the living shit out of Logan Paul. And the fight ends up getting broken up by staff. So just for the slap, I gave that segment a 3 out of 5. And finally, our final segment of the night. Number 18 and match number 4. We are the full 2 hours into the show at this point. And it is Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. One fall tag team standard. To start, Alexa's going to win the lockup and immediately tag Charlotte in for a double team move. Charlotte's going to kick Rhea in the face out on the apron, which I thought was good attention to detail because Rhea's face is currently injured right now, so they can use that if Rhea needs some time off or they need to change up a story. They have, well, Charlotte kicked Rhea in the face. We can work her out of anything. At a certain point, I see Io get a great sunset rollover on Charlotte. Io is one of the greatest female wrestlers to ever do it. She can just keep going. Her and Kairi. Look up the Insane Elbow. It is one of the most beautiful elbow drops I've ever seen in my life. High flying. And when I say high flying, I mean like high flying. Like Macho Man who? Of course, because this is the main event, they normally, main events or title matches get the drone shots. And what do I mean by that? In the Netflix era, they've started filming on drones, like the drones Netflix uses to catch the insane shots they get in their like Netflix productions. Like some of the Stranger Things shots and all that they do on drone. So Netflix, now that they have that brand deal with WWE and Raw is live on Netflix every Monday, Netflix gave them some of their equipment, and some of it's pretty fucking good. Like, the drone shots are insane. Rhea and Io come back in a little bit with some nice team combos, but Charlotte and Rhea finally get tag time together. 5 out of 5. Charlotte Flair is one of the few women in the business that is as tall as Rhea Ripley. So if Charlotte puts on weight, she's a pretty, like, decent competitor for someone of Rhea Ripley's stature. And I guess at that point there would be a cut to commercial. By the time they get back, Rhea's tagging into Io. And the end gets all they start like going back and forth, but Rhea sets up the Riptide, and Charlotte counters with beautiful turnaround DDT. Like, I can't even describe how emotional I got when I saw that. It was beautiful. But, okay. It would be at this point that Alexa Bliss goes to try to hit the sister Abigail, but it gets broken up. Everyone starts hitting everything at this point. Like, they just keep going for any move that they can get their hands on. And then the Kabuki Warriors interfere to end the match on a DQ. But it doesn't end there because Bayley and Lyra then proceed to come out and stop the beatdown. But, of course, Liv Morgan, Roxanne, and Raquel show up to lay everyone out, holding up the tag titles. The final shot of the show would be Liv Morgan and the rest of the Judgment Day ladies holding up the tag team belts and shit talking. Giving that a 4 out of 5. So, for this episode of Monday Night Raw, we got a 2-star, a 2-star, a 3-star, a 1-star, a 2-star, a 1-star, a 1-star, a 4-star, a 2-star, a 4-star, a 1-star, a 3-star, a 0-star, a 3-star, and a 4-star running. On average, adding all the totals up, I would say the mathematical opinion matches my personal opinion. The episode of Monday Night Raw for December 1st, 2025, I'd say gets a 2.2. Yeah. Hopefully things will pick up by this Saturday, because we have our Saturday night's main event PLE, which will be the last time. That'll be the last time. It's now. But speaking of the last time is now, that is going to be the last time for me today, everybody. I will see you in the next one, which we'll go back to gameplay tomorrow, and then I gotta do my review for SmackDown. Then another review for Raw. And then there's one more SmackDown before the last time. Alright. You guys enjoy your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.